Good evening and welcome to Sing to the King Gospel Artist Showcase, where God's minstrels showcase their gifts and their talents to the world. I want to say hello to you, and I want to thank you one more time for coming back and joining us. We have an awesome guest with us this evening, and it's none other than Dr. William H. Bennett II. Hi, Pastor. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Ginger.
It is so good to see you. This is my pastor. This is my pastor. Let's just get it straight. Woo, 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 woo. And we love each other. We're friends. He's my mentor. He's a business partner, and he has a lot of things going on in his life right now that are just wonderful. And I just wanted to get him in here so I could share with you some of the blessed things that he's doing for the Christian community and for the community as a whole. Pastor, thank you for taking time to join us.
It's a joy to be with you and with Martin. I'm delighted to be here. And let me congratulate you all. As I recall, this is your second year. You're celebrating your second year of your show, and you have developed an award-winning show. So I am very, very proud of you and Martin and Tom, your team. Very proud of you all.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. You're making me blush. But, you know, I want to thank you because, you know, a lot of times people around us see things in us that we don't see in ourselves, and some people are quiet about it. They sit back and watch. But you're not one of those quiet people. You've always pushed me to stretch, even when I didn't feel like stretching and didn't want to stretch. And I'd be saying, now, why is Pastor asking me to do that? He don't really want me to do that. But I really appreciate you for it. And you still do it. You find you're not so much in my face with it or in Martin's face with it. You do that gentle nudge, or you'll make a suggestion or plant a seed.
Well, I think it's so important to do that. I think when you see greatness in people, I think when you see giftings and talent in people, you know, I think you're called to exhort or to encourage each other to do greater works. I think we are in each other's lives to help push us to our destiny, to help push us to higher heights. I always know that there have been people in my life who have encouraged me, who have exhorted me, who have told me that they could see things in me. And sometimes you can see things in other people that they may not be focusing in terms of their own life. I just think we have to help and encourage each other.
Yes, and I just love it. And you know, the other thing that we tend to do sometimes when people push us and we feel like we're being pushed too much, as opposed to moving forward, we step back and remove ourselves from those people. And I just want to publicly say, I think you already know this, but you stuck with us. You know, we are forever connected.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those, and it's just such a good feeling because I know that I can pick up the phone and call you, and it's like we've been around each other every day.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that.
Well, you know, we've oftentimes said we're like spirits in that regard.
Yes.
So I really do celebrate you all. I really celebrate the creativity. You really are a genius in your own right, and the giftings that work within you all. It's just wonderful, and it's wonderful to see them being utilized in different venues and in different ways. And wherever you are, you just spread the light, and you know, and that light shines on other people. And so it's just a joy. And I'm delighted after 2 years to be able to come and be with you and to share and to celebrate you all.
Yes. Now, talking about spreading the light, you've been spreading a little light. You've been spreading a lot of light. You have a major endeavor going on, and that is that you're running for City Council.
That's right. That's right.
ForWard.
Yes.
ForWard 7.
ForWard 7.
Yes.
ForWard.
You're going to move it forward.
Absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
And you've been doing some major things. You were out at an event the other week where a bunch of folk were fed, and and I pay attention to what's going on, and you know, at a time when the economy is the way that it is, there are people that don't have food.
Oh yeah.
So you know, the church has always kind of done that, but it's on a different level now. And so for you to be in the mix of running, you have the church, Good Success, Good Success Christian Church and Ministries.
Yes.
4401 Sheriff Road, you need to take a visit.
Absolutely.
And it's a Holy Ghost experience, let me tell you. But it's a blessing because you are a giver and you're a compassionate person. And so when you put yourself into something, you put yourself into it wholeheartedly. So I know that you were out feeding people. I know that just today, this morning, you were out on the corner of Alabama Avenue and Branch Avenue fighting, for lack of a better word,
Sure.
For the people there with the speed trap that's there.
Absolutely.
And the danger in
Absolutely.
crossing the street there.
Sure.
And I guess my question to you, with all that you have on your plate, because I know you have a lot on your plate,
Sure.
what made you decide that you wanted to run for city council? What was it in you that said, I want to and I need to do this?
Sure. Well, you know, the easy answer to that question would really be that I believe it's what God's purpose for me is in this season. I've been involved in the political arena for a very long time. I just look at things and I see things that are just not what they could be. I have vision. That's one of the things that God's given me, is the ability to see what is not yet and what can be, or to see the potential. You've cited it in terms of people. I see people and I see their potential. I see buildings, I see its potential. I see situations and I see what it can be. I see a community, Ward 7, and I see what it can be. And I've been involved long enough to see that there is greater potential than has been being fulfilled. I like to say that Ward 7 is the east of the river section of Northeast Washington. We do have a part west of the river, Kingman Park, which is a new addition because of redistricting. But I look at that, and I've been serving in that community for 18 years. 8 years as the senior pastor of First Baptist Church of Deanwood, and then 10 years as the senior and founding pastor of Good Success Christian Church and Ministries. I have worked with the council persons that have been elected in that ward very closely. And what I have been able to see is that it has not lived up to its potential. And most recently, it has not lived up to its potential because of a lack of competent, caring, really community-oriented leadership. And I know that I can provide that. I know that I know how to bring people together. We can come together, share a common vision, create a vision, and then execute and get things done. Now, I was trained in the corporate world, Ginger, you know, I know how to make things happen. You know, we've bought a lot of properties, as you know. We've taken buildings and retrofitted buildings. We've bought crack houses and tore them down and built different buildings. Just recently completed building a wonderful state-of-the-art dental facility for Dr. Michelle. We know how to do those things. Have one of the most beautiful inner city churches that you would want to come into. You know, it's just a wonderful facility. So I have a vision for what our ward can be, but it requires creative and determined leadership to make that happen. And unfortunately, as nice as the incumbent is, she does not give the kind of leadership that ward, in my view, deserves and has the potential to live up to such a phenomenal future. You mentioned, if I could just add some of the things that we've already been doing as a church, as a person who is just serving people. Job summits, which we had a couple of weeks ago and which we'll have coming up shortly. You know, getting people trained, getting people jobs, getting people into the new economy, the green economy and the emerging technologies. We're already doing those kinds of things, you know, fighting for justice, fighting for people to in the midst of this economy to get jobs, demanding, you even mentioned today, demanding that our city leaders, our mayor, our police chief, stop taxing people in an underhanded way. And so today we're out at the speed trap on Branch Avenue saying to people, listen, you got a speed trap going down a hill. You put a ball on a hill, it's going to pick up speed, let alone a car, and you got a 25 per hour speed limit. Now, I'm all for safety, but there's a better way to do safety than if I happen to look up for a moment and go 7 miles above the speed limit. Now I've got a $125 ticket. That is an undue and an unjust tax to put on people. And we heard that over and over and over as we talk to people. And so we needed to do something. They ask us to act on that. Politicians, as usual, who are just in the mode of, let's see what we can do to generate money, they don't necessarily still maintain the heart of people. And that's what I think has happened. And so, you know, they're a little bit insulated and a little distant from that. But people are hurting,
yes,
as you have indicated. These have been rough economic times across the board. And I think that politicians have a responsibility to be both protect people, but also make sure that they protect them physically as well as financially where they can. And having somebody they have to pay $125, I'd call it an underhanded tax for going down a hill and ended up being traveling 35 instead of 25, you know, as opposed to having to ride their brake all the way
yes,
down a long hill. It's just unjust. There's a better way to do it. And that's simply what we're saying with this campaign is we look out on the Ward 7 community. We got 71,000 residents there. We can deliver more to that ward. We need to have more than 2 restaurants or 3 restaurants. We need to have more jobs. We need to bring in more businesses, and we can do that. I know how to do that, and I know working together with the citizens and with the great people of that ward, we're going to be able to really, really, really paint a beautiful and a greater Ward 7.
You know, Pastor, you know, when I was a little girl, my father was into doing these puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you buy them in the box and you got to put them together. And he would get the box, he'd go out and pick one out, and he would get the box and he would come back and he'd take all the puzzle pieces and put them out on the board, and he'd get me to come in, and I had to sit with him to help put this puzzle together. And I mean, I was excited every time he'd go get a new puzzle. My mama wasn't real happy, but she's like, if you bring one more puzzle. But I'm saying all that to say, he would spread the puzzle out on the table, and I would sit with him and we would put the pieces until we got the whole puzzle put together. And he'd say, you know, you start with the edges and then you fill it in, right? And that, what he was teaching me in that process was phenomenal, because of that, today, I can see the end of a thing before it's even started.
Sure.
I know what I'm trying to get to before I even get started, when I start a project. And that's what I see about you. You see the end, and really we never get to the end, because when we get to the finish of a project, there's always another project to start.
Sure.
And so I see that in you. I see your background is, it's just, we don't even have enough time to explain your background. But your father was the pastor for years at Galilee Baptist Church. You grew up in the church. Church is just, God is just in you. I mean, it's who you are. It just oozes out of you. You know, this is not your first, as I say, this is not the first ride, your first ride on a pony.
That's right.
In the political arena, because you were the religious affairs director.
Sure. And I ran in 1998 for the city council at large. Came in second place out of 13 candidates. That's when Phil Mendelson, very fine man, won the first time. So yeah, I've been around. I've served in Marion Barry's administration as his director of religious affairs. Helped to co-found the WIN, Washington Interfaith Network, which has done phenomenal things in our city. You know, co-chaired Mayor Gray's faith-based component of his campaign in his recent election, co-chaired his run for the chairmanship. So I have been around, been involved in our community, and I am just like Fannie Lou Hamer, who said, quite frankly, that I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I am so tired of empty promises. And to say that you're a politician is okay, but I'm tired of politicians that lie to people. I'm tired of politicians that don't tell the truth. I'm tired of politicians that will promise one thing and do something else and absolutely have no accountability around that. Ginger, people, I just see that there is absolutely so much that can be done that's not being done. I'm not being critical to be critical, but if you take Ward 7, we have for example, in the whole education area, we have a 60%, a 60-point achievement gap for our students in school, which means that if you take kids in Ward 3, predominantly white children there, and you take the kids in Ward 7, if they've got 100 points on their score, then our kids have on average a 40 score. that's terrible for the same school and the same for the
Exactly.
same city
I understand.
and the same city for the
Yes.
statistics to be. That's not one city. It's not acceptable to me. When you got 20% unemployment in Ward 7 and then 40% unemployment for our young people, young black men from 18 to 25 years old, that is a formula for disaster.
Well, it is, because when they can't get work, they resort to other things.
They resort to other things. And so it creates black on black crime.
Exactly.
It creates a community that is just in chaos. And those are problems that if we address them, we can do things about that. You take the health disparities. I have partnered already, even as I am seeking the election, partnered with Howard University Hospital, the CEO of that hospital and his assistant, to do partnerships that we are planning now to implement in our ward to deal with these debilitating diseases in a different approach to that. That's not happening now. It's more talk than it is actual work.
Well,
and that's the difference
right.
that I'm going to bring to this is action-oriented
Yes.
leadership, not just citing the problems. I've also talked, if I could just tell you, because jobs is so important, we have partnered with companies right now we've already gotten at least 50 persons hired, and we've got another commitment of another 150 jobs for persons who are interested in working in the whole emerging solar energy field, and those persons will be able to get the training that leads to real jobs in an emerging technology and so many other areas. These are very real jobs dealing with very real situations and helping very real people who need and who want to work. That doesn't take rocket science. It just takes hard work, creativity, and as you've said, vision. We've asked I met with the president of Howard University, President Rabot, met with the dean of the business school. I've asked them to come to our ward, set up satellite operations to help undergird our businesses there and to help the entrepreneurs in that community. It would be wonderful for them to go to Howard, but I'm going to bring those resources right to the community so that people can take advantage of that.
Right. And a lot of times when people get so discouraged, they don't try to go, it's like they shut down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you and I get discouraged. We're going to keep moving through the discouragement to try to get on the other side of it. Everybody's not designed that way.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when people get discouraged, they close up. So they won't go, you know, it's like a door closes,
Mm-hmm.
So they stop going to seek help.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you do have to bring the help to them.
Absolutely.
And see, that's something else that, you know, there's so many things that you've done for the community already that people aren't aware of. You know, you've done so much assistance and work in the area of addictions.
Sure.
It's just wonderful to watch you take a person that's addicted and just with love, get them on the other side of that.
Well, I think that's the greatest example of the power of God. You know, that you see lives transformed. In fact, this coming Friday, we'll start hosting a brand new AANA group. That's not new to us. But what we're doing is we are just saying, if you're going to be in Ward 7, you got to deal with the relevance of things that are going on. It's a high infestation of drugs. People are impacted by that. We could get into all of the social issues as to why that is the case. But the bottom line is do something that addresses it and gives people an opportunity to transform their lives. And so whether it has been through the rehabilitation and the restoration of people's lives, through our partnerships and programs, or whether it be the hundreds of people that we feed on a monthly basis, you know, all of that, or whether it be even our missions outreach to places like Ethiopia and other things that we're doing. We are just doing that which we believe from the core of ourselves is important. The important thing is that we're doing it. We're not just citing the problems, but we are making a difference. And my point is this: if we can do what we've been able to do in our community as a church and as an individual, what can we do when we bring all of the resources together of a wonderful community i.e. Ward 7 of the District of Columbia, what will we be able to do collectively with all the genius that is there and all of the great people? We'll be able to transform that. And 4 years from now, after I am elected, we're going to be able to look at this ward and see substantial progress in the area of public safety, education, economic development, jobs, care for our seniors, and helping our young people to get on the right track. I'm absolutely confident of that. And that's why I want people to vote for me, vote for a positive change, vote for a man who's going to operate from a place of ethics. Nobody's perfect, but we have had such ethical problems that it is absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's a sacred trust when people trust you. They don't expect you to steal. They don't expect you to rob. They don't expect you to lie. Well, it's unfortunate. I think they do expect some of that to happen, but it shouldn't be the case, and it won't be the case when I am elected.
And you know, one of the important things that we have to get across to people is that they need to come out and vote.
Absolutely.
As I've said, you need to let your voice be heard on April 3rd.
Well, Ginger, let me say this, that Black History Month always reminds me of the fact that there was a price to pay for freedom. Freedom is not free. And we, particularly as African American people, need to appreciate the struggles of those of our forefathers and foreparents. And it was just not just Black people, because there were all races and nationalities of people who came together around that struggle. But we need to understand that, and for us to exercise the right to vote, which such a high price was paid for, is absolutely our responsibility to do that. Whether you like all the candidates or not, choose one of them and just say, I'll cast my lot with them. And then not only cast your vote for them, but then get involved and stay involved and engaged in the process, and let's help work it together.
Exactly. And, you know, and I really want to encourage people to go out and vote, because, again, with the ethical issues that are going on, a lot of people are of the mindset, why bother?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to bother. If you want to make a difference in what's going on in your community, then you need to let your voice be heard.
So important. I think, you know, either you're going to be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. Nobody's looking for anybody perfect, but you do absolutely need to select someone that you think represents your values. And again, I just believe that you owe it to your future and your community to be engaged. And so I challenge everyone, vote. That election will take place on April the 3rd, and I hope that people will vote for Reverend Bill Bennett for the City Council of Ward 7 in Washington, D.C.
And as I say, if you keep God in it,
yes,
Bennett will win it.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, we are in it to win it, and we're in it to keep God in it. We're in it to keep our people, our seniors, our young people in it. We're in it to help get jobs for people. We're in it to help improve a community that deserves so much better than we've gotten. And my slogan is that together we can deliver more for our ward, and we will do that.
Well, Pastor, I want to thank you one more time for stopping by here. I'm excited. I know that God's got you right here. And I know that God has his people right here.
Yes.
And so they'll do the right thing, because they can see your spirit, and they know the spirit that resides within you.
Thank you.
So, Martin and I love you.
Thank you. Thank you, and Martin, I love you all too. And again, I am so very proud of you. Keep up the great work that you're doing. You're so inspiring and so anointed and so talented. I just love you guys, and I celebrate what God's doing through you.
Pastor, you know, you brought someone here to the studio with you this evening, and I would be remiss not to bring him on and just talk to him a little bit about some of the things that he's done as well in the community, because he's shaking up some things himself, and it's none other than Minister Willie Woods of Good Success Christian Church and Ministries. And Willie, how you doing?
I'm doing just great, Ginger, just great.
Well,
Thank you for having us.
Yes, and I'm glad that you came. It was so good to see you, and you know Martin's excited to see you, because you guys go back to I mean, little teeny.
To
I'm
the
not,
mud
you
pie,
know,
yes.
I start talking about the senior citizen thing. You know, y'all go back
Yes.
as little teeny children
Yes, we do.
in the music industry, and it's amazing to me how God keeps sending people through here that knew Martin, you know, and they grew
Yes.
up, not just knew him musically, but grew up with him.
Yes.
And you're doing some wonderful things in ministry. You're doing some wonderful things to help the community. You're ANC commissioner. Could you just tell me a little bit? There's something that you just did in the area of health?
Yes. I live in the Parkside community, and we have the Promise Neighborhood Initiative, DC Promise Neighborhood, and we're about to open a new health facility over there, which the DC Primary Care Association has initiated that. So that'll be happening, the groundbreaking in March, and hopefully you all will be able to come and attend to that groundbreaking. We're looking forward to that.
That's wonderful. And you know, that health care area is something that's near and dear
Yes.
to my heart. You know, as a lupus survivor,
Yes.
you know, I'm aware of some of the issues with people who don't have proper, people are dying because they don't have proper health care.
Of course.
Martin is going through a health care issue right now, and I started to take a well, I have taken numerous pictures of his medical situation, and I started to put it up on YouTube and say this is the face of, you know, our medical issues, because you know, he's a musician. There wasn't insurance, and there was, you know.
Yes,
and so because he doesn't have health insurance, they don't want to treat him. And that's just one instance of this happening to people. So healthcare is a major, major issue.
Yes, it is.
And this seems like the closer we get to, you know, the legislation getting changed, the healthcare industry finds ways to come up with new loopholes to still block people from being able to get the care that they need. So I commend you on, you know, working that program through and getting it set up and getting it opened up and just helping people who otherwise might die.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You said moving Ward 7 forward.
Yes,
And
forward.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what we do.
And Pastor's got a wonderful person. He couldn't find a more committed person to be walking with him and working with him and helping promote the campaign. And you're already in the midst of what's, again, happening in the community. So that's another asset.
Yes, he's my spiritual dad.
Yes.
And one thing I did do that a lot of the ANCs don't do is jump out there immediately to endorse somebody. But by me being so close to him and him being my pastor, I had to listen to God. God said, you do what's right.
Yes.
This is the right thing to do.
Yes.
So with all being said and done, we're in it to win it.
Pastor, you know, I know that you're going to make a change. You're already making a change in the community, but I know as city council member, you're going to make a major change in that community. So what I wanted to do at this time is just have my wonderful husband, your good friend, Martin Cornwell, sing A Change Is Gonna Come.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. One of my favorite songs.
I was born by the river in a little old tin. And just like that river, I've been running ever since. Now it's been a long time coming, and I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it is. I've been too hard at living, and I'm afraid to die. Lord, I wonder what's up there beyond the skies. It's been a long time coming, and I know when I go to my brother, and I said, my brother, oh, my brother, would you help me, please? Oh, you know, I end up right back where I started. Yeah. And that is right down on my bending knees. And there were times when I thought that I wouldn't last too long. Oh, but I serve a God who's able.
Yes.
He gives me the strength to carry on. Now it's been a long time coming, and I know the change is gonna come. Oh, yes it is. See, when I go to my brothers, and I said, my brother, oh, my brother, would you help me, please? Oh, you know, I end up right back where I started. And that is right down on my bending knees. There were times when I thought that I wouldn't last too long. Oh, but I serve a God who's able.
Yes.
He gives me the strength to carry on. Now it's been a long time coming, and I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
My.
Yeah. Pastor Bennett, I don't know about you, but I've truly enjoyed myself this evening.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I mean, and you know, when you think you know so much about a person,
Yes.
you find out that there are some things that you still don't know about a person. Amen. But you know, we have had a wonderful time. I truly am excited about what's going on with you
Thank you.
personally. Those little special
you.
babies.
Yes,
I'm excited about what's going on at the church. Things are
you.
moving at the church.
Yes.
And I'm excited about Bennett being in it for Ward 7 and being in it to win it. So thank you. I cannot thank you enough. I'm always excited to see you. I love your energy. I love your spirit. And you know what we tell the people, right?
No.
Until the next time you join us on Sing to the King, we want you to stay blessed.
Stay blessed.